I'm here, buddies. I'm here. You go get me a cup of water, and we gonna do a little mini stream today, because I'm tired of shit. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Wonder if we're gonna get any audience members today. You know, seems like one of the ways Twitch works. Most people are on it around the same time of day every day. So, you know, you you make friends and get followers from different time slots if you're somebody like me who has no fucking idea when they're going to start streaming. you know, whenever I feel like it. But anyway, let's just chat. You know, something I love about Twitch. I'm in a shirt that's like 3 sizes too big for me. I'm wearing basically pajamas. I'm making pajamas, or making. I'm streaming in my pajamas because you gonna tell me I can't? Yeah, you know, I've said this a bunch, but I spent so much time and effort trying to be the person that other people want me to be or need me to be in that moment. It's a really useful skill sometimes. And I'm still like that, say I'm not in a good mood or something and I got a friend in need. Well, you know, I'm not going to drop all my weight on them. I'm going to just, for a minute, or however long it takes, I'm just going to act like, you know, I'm in a great mood or whatever. You be you be the kind of person that the other person needs in that moment. When you're in sales, which I did for many years, you need to project charisma, confidence, showing that you're knowledgeable. It's just another skin. It's just another face to put on. But I had no idea when I was younger that I was killing myself, putting all this energy into appearing. And I don't think when you're wearing different masks and everything, I don't think of that as being dishonest. I mean, if you actually have a manipulative motive, you know. But like when I get pulled over by a cop, don't matter what mood I'm in. I'm in a yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am kind of mood. Cause don't tase me, bro. Yeah, plus they just doing their jobs. Like I've gotten a little bit of hassle from the cops when I wasn't doing anything, but most of the time when they give me shit about something, it's for something I did, you know. But I'm a white male living in South Carolina, so other folks, um, very likely experience police encounters a little bit differently than me. They just do. It's one of those things. I was talking a little bit with Doc Martian about this, and how when you grow up in a certain culture, my mom was always real liberal, just told me to love everybody or whatever. But I didn't have any black friends when I was preschool or whatever. And when I was growing up, and when I was in like high school, you'd see that the whites and the blacks segregated themselves. I mean, both contributed. There was a black section of the cafeteria. Um, and it's not like there were no white people in the black section or no black people in the white section, but they pretty much stuck together. But anyway, oh look, it got me another viewer already. Anyway, when I was in high school, I was like, where's all this racism and sexism that everybody's talking about? I didn't see it, man. But I had my blinders on, blinders of bias, blinders of privilege. You know, took a lot of years before I would even. It's not something. It's learned. I mean, you have to engage with other communities, people from other races, people from other religions, people from other cultures. Once you do that and really spend some time, you're never going to be able to understand what life is like. For instance, as a young black male in America, I'll never understand that. I can't. Just like people that don't have the mental condition that I have, I can tell you about it and talk about it, but you don't really know what it's like if you haven't been there. But I'm really glad that even though that's sort of like an impossible goal to know what it feels like to be a woman living in America, Latino living in America, or whatever, I'm never going to fully understand it, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't try, you know? Like, I was talking to somebody on Discord about, like, this was, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago. Oops. Maybe 4 years ago, I'm just doing a little internal check, my mind and heart, and I found that I had prejudice against Muslims because of 9/11 and some other things really affected me. But since then, you know, in principle and logically in my mind, I got nothing against Muslims, you know? Ooh, I'm already. Anyway, anyway, but the thing also that I was wrong about when I was younger and have learned a little bit more now, you can make a decision in your head. You can make a logical decision about how you should view things, but your heart doesn't necessarily follow suit with that, not automatically. So, what I did is two different things. One, I went to a local mosque, set up an appointment, and went in there and spoke to met with is it the imam, the preacher, and his stepdaughter. He sat down with me and my ex together at the time, and just gave us the rundown. This is Islam, and this is how it differs from Christianity, and this is how our belief system works. And then after that meeting, we even got to, this was really exciting for me actually. I got to go into the room quietly, calmly, and watch their prayers, one of their daily prayers, and that was really a special experience for me. And then after it was over, two of the guys that had been in there praying, they were like, "You like tea? You want some tea?" I was like, "Yeah, I want some tea." They gave me the best freaking tea I've ever had in my life, man. It was such a cool group of people. I went back and visited a few more times, attended some of their public events. But the other thing I did was I joined this website called Islamic Board, which is it's a pretty big site. There's a lot of people that participate in it, and you've got, I think it leans more towards the conservative Muslim um, sort of thinking about religion, but you had people of all spectrums. And one of the things that they did a lot of is you raise questions, and people would talk about challenges in practicing their faith, and and then there'd be a lot of different responses. This has been my experience. Here's a lecture you might want to listen to. Here's some quotes from the Quran. And I started to engage with these people. I just started, agnostic is here to learn about Islam. And they just welcomed me with open arms. They were really so nice. Almost every single one of them. And um, and I had some questions. Even though I didn't start with this, didn't want to come in there and start a discussion where we were on opposing sides. So I came in there from the perspective of I'm here to learn. I just want to know about what you guys are doing. I'm not trying to change your mind about anything, and you might if you want to change my mind about my agnosticism, good luck with that. But um, you know, but it was really cool. It's really really cool. And one of the things I did too is I read the Quran when I was 15 maybe. After I read the Bible and the Tao Te Ching and stuff, it's like, well, let me just read all the major ones. But I hadn't read it again since I was a teenager. So I started from the beginning of the Quran. Would do one chapter at a time, and then I'd publish my reaction. What I think about it. Each chapter was a little short essay of what I picked up from that reading. And I had a couple people, like for instance, in the first couple of posts, whenever I always referred to the writer of the Quran as the writer or the author. So the author, he makes this point, and then the author says this. And a couple of people was like, one of the ladies in there said, your post gets me to giggling, but it's really great that you're doing that. It's like, well, I'm glad I'm making you laugh, but I, not mean to. And then one of the guys, he posted on there, Dan, when you're talking about the author, in this case, the author is God. So, so I mean, it seemed like he wasn't disrespectful about it. I don't think he thought I was being disrespectful. It was just he's like, from our point of view, that's God, and you're just calling him the author. That's funny. And that other lady's like, yeah, that's one of the things that gets me to giggling. But it was great. It was great. And in the reading, I'm not going to make this whole stream about religion, but I'm into it right now. There's these quotes from the Quran that people like to, people that are against Islam, they bring up all the time. Bring up all the time. The one that I see more often than any other quote from the Quran is kill the infidel wherever you may find him. Kill the infidel wherever you find him. Well, in my reading, I get to the part where that's there. The context in which that quote comes is that this tribe, this group of Muslims is being persecuted. They're being chased. They're being driven off their land. They're at war. They're at war. If you take the Quran's account to be the truth, and that's the perspective it's coming from, it's a war they didn't start. And the aggressors are coming and killing and enslaving their men, women, and children. So that's what's going on in the chapter. And so then the author, peace be upon him, he he starts to lay down some ground rules of how you're supposed to behave when you're in this situation. And he says, first try to make peace. That's your main objective here, is to make peace. if they're trying to engage you on holy ground, unless they force you to do it, do not fight on holy ground. There's some Muslims today that could reread that chapter and remember, if you want to start a fight, don't go sitting in a mosque. You know, it's not where you're supposed to do that, according to the Quran. So there's all kinds of rules that they limits, like the Geneva Convention. There's a version of the Geneva Convention in the Quran. And, it says if if they just won't stop pursuing you, if the enemy continues to pursue you and they're continuing to come after you, and they won't stop and they won't sue for peace, then fight back. He called them the infidel, is what they call these aggressors. Said, if don't just stand there and take it, go kill them wherever you find them. Kill them. Defend yourself. Sometimes to be proactive in your own defense, you got to go on the offense. That's what it's saying. But it says if your enemy retreats to holy ground, that's one of the rules. You stop. If the enemy sues for peace, if they initiate the peace process, you stop. You stop killing them. You stop. That same chapter forbids the killing of civilians as well. There's some stuff in there I had to take issue with because back then slavery was a thing. So, there's a thing where if you conquer a certain city or whatever, you take it over from the aggressors, that you get certain percentage of that, like 1 out of every 10 of them or whatever has to be a slave or something like that. There's references to slavery in the Quran, just like there is in the Bible, that really shows you the date, when it was written. But the thing that's so astonishing is that the number one quote that I've heard to criticize Islam for years, if you read the context in which that quote comes up, the perspective is the exact opposite of what people are trying to say it is. You know, it, yeah. If you're under attack, who's going to just sit there and take a beating over and over and over again? I don't know if the history of the Quran is correct. I'm just telling you what is the context of the story that's written in the book. And they were under attack from foreign aggressors. What are you supposed to do? Well, what they decided to do is say, okay, then bring it on, go after them. In the war by military force if you have to. But as soon as the enemy sues for peace, if they're sincere, according to the Quran, you must stop fighting. You have to. Doesn't always happen in practice, but we're talking about what it says in the Quran. People be Christians all their lives, and they forget about a lot of the stuff in the Old Testament. God's chosen people's army conquered cities, put everyone to the sword, and burned it all to the ground. It was a story of the character who screamed at the walls, and the walls came tumbling down of the city that they were trying to capture, and then they went in there and fucked them up. There is documentation of, I don't want to say ethnic cleansing, but tribal cleansing. Kill every last man, woman, and child is what the Bible says they did. Although it's kind of crazy. In one chapter it'll say, this particular tribe, we eradicated them. A couple books later in the Bible, that tribe pops back up again. So I guess they didn't kill them all, right? But there's Jewish holidays that celebrate very bloody, very bloody elements of the history of the Jewish people. So anyway, how long have I been talking about this crap? You have a timer in here? whatever. I'm in live for 20 minutes and talking about Islam. Well, that's what came to mind, whatever. I'm in my pajamas. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. So, so yeah, man, yesterday, I got a couple viewers in here. It was a different time of day. Some folks that are around during the day. And these generous, loving people just straight up walked me through building my Streamlabs the way I wanted to, which all I want is something basic. Is I ain't trying to get real fancy with it. I'll pay somebody else to do that. I just don't feel like doing it. My talents are lean very much more towards the right brain. I mean, I've got artistic talents, but my artistic talents are in writing, poetry, singing, music. I got zero talent when it comes to art and design. So let people who love to do that do that. So usually when I get on here, I give a little bit of an update on my mental health journey. It's your first time chilling with me. I'm Dan Edge, and I am sick in the head. Diagnosed as bipolar and high anxiety and ADHD, but I got a lot of other symptoms that are not explained by those diagnoses. Definitely, have bipolar, 99%. The thing that's weird about me is that the last two manic episodes I've had, I mean, like a lot of bipolar people, my symptoms started to become much more noticeable as I got into my old upper 30s. So I saw a psychiatrist for the first time in my adult life at the end of 2018. So, but the thing about I call it hypermania. I just coined that phrase. Because what happens when I'm in hypermania doesn't seem to matter what medication I'm on or if I'm on medication at all. This is how I am. When I'm in a mode of hypermania, my verbal communication processor becomes greatly debilitated. The only reason I'm able to sort of speak normally right now is because I went and got my ass whooped in the gym for a few hours today. And I laid down and listened to music for a few hours before I started this. But, I ain't going to be one of those people that does 12-hour, 24-hour streams because my body and my mind is not physically capable of communicating that many words. I run out of bandwidth. My mind gets tired. I stop being able to speak and understand language. So anyway, when I'm in this hypermanic mode, my verbal communication processor is crippled, but my ability to input other forms of data, like written communication and mathematics, is accelerated. It's like my mind is compensating all the energy that it was putting into communication, which, as I've said, I'm an expert chameleon. I'm an expert at wearing the mask. But it takes up a lot of bandwidth in my mind. So my mind, my brain, whatever my chemistry has made the bandwidth for verbal communication very, very small. But what it seems to me is it's taking that energy, its pathways are being distributed to other areas of my brain. And along with the things that I can do with my intellect, the fact that I'm very uncomfortable with eye contact, I rock, I do repetitive things. I listen to the same songs over and over and over and over and over again. I have rituals. These are symptoms of autism. But autistics don't cycle in and out of autism. We think. So I'm displaying symptoms of autistic savantism when I'm in my manic state. That's what I think. The problem that I'm having, it's certainly the case, even if I'm wrong about that, I know to the extent that I can achieve certainty on this matter, 99%, I know that bipolar, anxiety, and ADHD do not explain my symptoms. Not all of them. I have a lot of other symptoms. The way I talk, the way I move, amount of suffering I endure, breaking down into shaking fits. They say there's some, and I'm open to the possibility that I'm just an extreme bipolar. But from what I've read, most manic people that are in manic phases, they can be more productive, but it does not give them heightened intellectual prowess the way it does me. It's possible that I'm a synesthete. I've read about them. They not exactly like any of them, but not too different. I do experience thinking as, particularly when I'm looking at problems, puzzles. Um, I tend to think about it in my head as three-dimensional objects, all the different pieces of data, and then I can fit them together, and then it's just a whole thing. But the thing that my mind does that is astonishing to me is this process of collating the data, filing it away. I call it a shape, a filing cabinet, whatever, filing that data away that has a specific geography to it, topography, rather. And the more I gather data, my mind, that process of fitting the pieces together, my subconscious mind does that for me. I don't sit there and focus on, like something I'm really good at is sizing people up. And I think it's natural for most men, when you meet another man, it's not as though this pops into your head immediately, but I think that this is an instinctual thing. One of the things that might go through your mind is if it comes down to a tangle, could I take this guy, right? But, I'm so kind, loving. I mean, I don't ever have to fight anybody because I can always get out of it. But I met this guy. I made a recording of this conversation actually. I met this guy and just told him all these in our within 5 minutes of meeting. He allowed me to record our conversation because this was an experiment I wanted to conduct. I'd been speaking to him for 5 minutes, saw how he moved and dressed and talked. And I said, we met for 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes to explain to you all the details about you that I gather so far. You know, and it was some pretty deep stuff, and I knocked him on his ass. I nailed his. Said, "I bet you're a good husband and father." Just a lot of different things. You have to listen to it. It is a good instance of what my mind can do. But it came up, one of the things that I mentioned was, you know, that I didn't even have to think about this to know. My mind's already done the processing, but you're not a threat. You're not a threat to me physically. And he said, well, it's crazy your mind goes there first. I said, no, my mind doesn't go there. I don't think about that at all. My subconscious is watching the way you move, the cadence of your speech, your word choices, how you're dressed, how you stand with respect to me, the tone of your voice, all those things. Collates all that information. And even, obvious things like how tall are you, how much do you weigh, stuff like that. My mind processes that. And then, if I ever want to think about it, I can determine the threat level. My brain will just throw out the answer. Because there's definitely some people out there that, particularly in the recovery community, you've got a lot of people who have a really troubled past. There's a lot of people with violent history up there. And most of them, they're up there to get well like the rest of us. They're not up there to pick a fight. But there's some of them. There's some dangerous people hang out in the rooms of recovery. You know, they might not know that people can see it, but can't hide from me, buddy. You watch the way someone moves and the way they look at men and different, or men and women differently, the way they respond to different men. For instance, I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds. I'm a big guy, so some of the people I encounter, most of the people I encounter are smaller than me, right? There's some guys might be 5'6", made of steel, hard as nails, little guy. They always they always want to let me know without saying it that they ain't one to fuck with. They want me to know that they're not intimidated at all by the fact that I got 50 pounds on them. They don't even have to tell me that. I see it. You know, hang on. Yeah, the the ability to size people up like that. For example, the threat level that another man generates. So useful. So useful. Because if you're reading somebody's intent, you can see where they're trying to go with that. It makes it that much easier to get myself out of that situation. I can be self-deprecating. I can be like, "Hey, man, you're you're the tough one here. I surrender. Just let's just love each other and go on our way." Sometimes that's effective. Usually, sometimes most effective form of communication is standing your ground, letting them know, I know you're trying to tell me you ain't one to be fucked with, dude, but I'm not that dude either. I ain't the one, man. I know I just started this MMA stuff, and I was a wrestler in high school. I've been working out hard off and on for my entire life. I'm a big, tough, strong guy. I'm dangerous. Can be. Somebody comes at me. I'm never going to be the one to initiate that. You can say whatever the fuck you want about my mother or my life, or try to put me down for being, an addict or whatever. I don't care. I mean, maybe it'll hurt my feelings a little bit, but people get in a fight over words all the time. I think that's dumb as shit. It's the dumbest thing ever. Words are just words, man. It doesn't fucking matter. But think of my entire life, my entire adult life. I've only ever been in one real fight for my life, or ended up getting hurting badly, and I won that one. Won that. All the other things, I've had a situation where some dude that I was talking to at a bar, I found out later that from his cousin that I happened to meet that he's quite mentally ill, PTSD and everything. But we were talking in a bar in Spartanburg. I drank back then, but I wasn't drinking a lot at that moment. I wasn't intoxicated, but anyway, I was like, "Hey, you want to go outside? Get some air?" Because we were just chatting, talking to Steve. He's like, "Fine." So we go out there. He grabs me from behind, pulls my shoulder down, and fucking decks me right in the face, or in the lip, in the mouth. He hit me because it cut my lip wide open on the inside. I was bleeding. It's like, and then he starts coming at me like, "What's up, bro? What's up, bro?" I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, man? What?" I knew it couldn't have been anything that I said. So maybe it was, but maybe he misheard me or whatever. But I took the punch, and then I kind of started backing away from him. Like, why are you doing this? And, he continued to kind of follow me around. So I got up my phone. I dialed 911. I was like, all right. I mean, I don't want to fight you. You know, I'll get the, I'll get 5-0 to roll up in here, and they did. As soon as I called the police, he went off and hid in the bushes because he had open warrants. Found out later, doing crazy shit. So yeah, I'll go to great lengths to avoid a fight. But the other things I've gotten to, I don't know, maybe a dozen tussles. But when you're a wrestler like I am, I mean, it doesn't even really count as a fight if somebody takes a swing at you and they miss, and then you lock them up, and then you take them to the ground, or even if you don't take them to the ground, you just lock them up, put them in a clinch, put them in something, push them up against a wall, and put all your weight on them. That's not any fun. That's not any fun for the other guy. Most people want to get in street fights. They want to bang. They don't like being made immobile. In fact, the only real big fight that I had where I got cut up so bad and everything, I ended up holding that guy down. I could have killed him. I certainly could have and would have been justified from a lot of people's perspective to put a hurting on him. I mean, he kicked through the glass on the window, reached in, opened the lock, and came in at me. That's what happened. I did bite off part of his pinky finger, but after that, I think it scared him a little bit. I pushed him down on the couch and spread his legs open like that, and I held him there. I held him there, bleeding all over him, until the cops got there. And there are other situations like that where it didn't get that crazy. If you just show somebody, like for a lot of people, I don't have to hurt you in order to restrain you. It's one of the reasons that I want to do MMA too, because it really makes it easier to not hurt somebody, hurt somebody, because non-lethal. And of course, Krav is going to teach you how to poke their eyes out and bash their heads in, get them on the ground, and then run up to them and stomp them in the face and run away. Anyway, I get off on this masculinity kick about me being tough guy. It's part of who I am. And it's true. A lot of people look at me and that's a sick old man right there. It's true. It's part of me. It's part of it. I got my problems up here. Got my strengths up here too. Do compensate for that. Physically, it's the same thing. I've got bum feet, born with a birth defect in my feet. It's easy to sprain my ankles. I got really, really weak hip flexors on both sides. Need physical therapy. I got weaknesses, but on the whole, I'm a big, strong motherfucker. Lifted a lot of weights, do a lot of different kind of fitness, crossfitting, resistance work. Fucking hate cardio, but I do it anyway. But my body keeps getting stronger and stronger. Every time I go back into working out, I think I just weighed in at 193 and a half pounds at the end of the day. I got a little bit of gut, but a lot of people wouldn't guess I'm as heavy as I am. So yeah, and it's the same thing with my mind. I've got some weak spots I'm working through right now, my brain. But at the same time, overall, I keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger here. Every book I read, every essay I write, it's how you work out your brain. I've been doing that my whole life. It's such a fucking egotistical conversation I'm having with myself, with my no viewers in here. But I need that sometimes. I gotta give myself a pep talk. I gotta remind myself that, you know, despite my suffering and struggles, I'm a good man. I'm a good man. Damn it. And I'm a talented man. I'm a talented man. There's a lot more to my story than these sunglasses, these headphones, like this. See that? I'm looking right in my eyes. You can't even imagine how much it makes me suffer to look into my own eyes, that of other people. It's torture. But I can take it. Suffering ain't nothing new to me. I can I can wear the mask when I need to. It feels good to take it off every now and again. That's what I'm doing here on Twitch. I'm just being me. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and you can't stop me. Megan, Ginger Beast, how you doing this fine evening, or whatever the hell kind of time of day it is where you're at? I'm given that I am a very mentally ill person. Given that, I feel great. You know, right now I've got a working on a routine. I get up in the morning, have a couple cups of coffee, meditate while listening to music, and I go up to the UFC gym, get my ass whooped for an hour or two, and go to a recovery meeting. Right now in my life, because of what's going on, I really just have three objectives in the day: meditate, fitness, and recovery meeting. And the fourth one I add is sleep. That's the reason I have to go work out as hard as I do, because if I don't work out, I won't sleep. I got insomnia. That's a long answer to the question. I feel really good. My body is totally exhausted. I'm totally exhausted. But I'm in a good mood. Where I know you from, Megan? Do we meet in the chat or something? Or did I come into your room? I don't think so. Do you have you have a, oops. I wish it would just let me, when I click on your name, I wish it would just let me go to your channel if you have one. So all I got is whisper and add friend. Oh, and I can block you or report you. How come I can't? I want to see if you have a channel. I can always go search for it. Anyway, bam, you're my friend. Feel free to accept or not. Anybody wants to come in here chat with me is a friend of mine. Z Dusty Trails. That's cool. I have a really good time visiting different chats and browsing chats. It's a lot of fun. It's also very practical because you know most of the followers that I have are people where Coolio, you're my friend. You're my buddy. I got nothing but love for you. Oh, yeah. I've been doing this little thing. You're my first visitor of the day, so bloop. That's for you, Megan. That was just for you. That's right. That's for you, my friend. Yeah. You know what I fucking love about this? I just said this on stream already. I'm in a shirt that's like three sizes too big for me, and like gray cotton shorts, socks. And I didn't feel like I don't have to get pressed up to come in here. I love just being able to be myself. It's awesome, man. So do you have a stream, Megan? Can I give you a follow? I'll look you up. Let's see here. Let's search for Megan. Oh, there you are. Megan the Ginger Beast. Boom, followed you. You love video games and dinosaurs. I'm down. I like both those things too. It's a pretty intimidating looking wolf you got as your as your symbol. And looky there, you got over 1,000 followers. You on your way. Kind of stream. Yeah, you know, that's one of those things that I'm gonna have to start making friends and stuff that are in different at different times of the day because hey, no problem, Megan. Thanks for stopping in. The Usually the same people are here at the same time of day. That a lot of the streamers have a schedule that they stick to, and they encourage you to do that. I might never do that. I'm somebody that, like I say, I suffer from some pretty serious mental illness. Got some major symptoms to it. And so I basically just stream when I fucking feel like it. When I got the energy to do it. And, you know, hey, what's up, man? Can never keep to a streaming schedule. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever have one. I don't think it's necessary though. But I mean, it can help some people. What do I suffer from? Well, my diagnosis right now that I've gotten is bipolar, high anxiety, ADHD. But we got a problem now. Particularly when I'm in my manic state, I exhibit symptoms of autistic savantism. My verbal communication processor is crippled, but the rest of my mind is accelerating. I'm able to deal with complex problems with multimedia data very, very rapidly. That's not a symptom of bipolar. I also struggle with eye contact. I'm hypersensitive to light and sound. If I speak for too long or listen to language for too long, just verbal communication now, I lose my ability to speak till I rest. My mind currently has a very small bandwidth for verbal communication. So something I can just show you because I'm getting a little bit tired. Sometimes I just have to follow the path of least resistance. Anytime I'm talking, it causes me to suffer just a little bit, but I can mitigate the wear and tear on my brain if I slow down and relinquish control of my body, tone of my voice. And so sometimes this is the most comfortable way for me to talk. Makes me comfortable. I can say more words without getting tired if I just let my body go. So I do that a lot. You might see me do this a lot too, and I need to anyway. Get cross-legged on my chair. Two or three breaths with an empty mind goes a long way, preserving my stamina. One time you kept to a schedule was when you were staying at your grandma and midnight every day. Yeah, I know, right? Wicked. I mean, fucking, you know, everybody wants to be special, right? Well, I get to be special. Hooray. Plus, my real name is Dan Edge. Dan Edge is my real name. Well, Daniel, but I've been go by Dan my whole life. Dan Edge. Dan Edge sounds he should be like a fucking superstar or rocker or professional wrestler. That's great. And a lot of people, most people here on Twitch, they adopt a little bit of different persona. People do this on Facebook too. Adopt, only show people one side of themselves. They adopt a persona. They give themselves a name, they're different than their normal name. I got no problem with that. I think that works great for most people. I think it's a fine choice to make. But my name's Dan Edge, so on Twitch, I'm Dan Edge is me. That's who I am. A great, yeah, WWE name, yeah, right. You know what's fucking crazy, man? Because I looked up, ow. I looked up Dan Edge. When you do a Google search for Dan Edge, I come up in some places because I've published a lot of writing. But the first thing that comes up, there's two. There's one guy who is an environmental science professor in the Western United States, and the other guy is a British professional wrestler that goes by Dan Edge. It's so fucking awesome. But who knows, man? Wrestler name, yeah. I'm I'm getting pretty close. I'm already. I guess I've already made the decision to use Twitch as a revenue stream because when I got on a medication that kicked me into a manic cycle, I lost my job basically. Technically, I'm on medical leave, but I am not capable of talking all day, every day, 50 hours a week, 6 days a week. I'm physically not capable of. So I need to explore some other revenue streams. I have an advantage in that, I've started my own businesses a bunch of times in the past, and I've got a lot of experience with sales and contact management. And as I say, my mind's a data processing machine. I've already got all the information I need. Really, I mean, I could read up some other stuff, but I already have all the data that I need to become a Twitch partner. I already know how to do it. I haven't written the outline out yet, but one of the things about me is that my mind automatically inputs data. All our minds do that. But my subconscious organizes that data and fits pieces of the puzzle together. It collates the data for me. So I didn't have to think about how I'm going to start making money on Twitch. I didn't have to think about that consciously at all. I just had to participate in the platform. My subconscious has already written the solution analysis for this problem. The problem being how to generate revenue on Twitch. I already know how to do it. The way I experience it, some people similar to me call them synesthetes. They think in shapes and gradations of color. I'm kind of like that, but it's a little bit different. Like it's mostly shapes, call them filing cabinets. So if I want to access the information that's in that data storage unit, I just have to reach into my mind and touch it, and then it just flows out. So that's one of the things that allows me to write as quickly and professionally as I do because I already know what's going to come out. I write a page and a half of material in about 5 minutes. It depends if we're talking about a highly technical subject matter or if we're talking about fiction, which I had very little experience with. I did write first 2 chapters of a fiction novel just as a test. But yeah, I can read and write and research and study. It sounds so prideful to say this, but I know a lot of smart people, and I know a lot of people who are smarter than me who could not do the things that I can do. So there's definitely some element of savantism in here, even if it's not specifically autistic. My local care providers, they've really discouraged me from seeking a diagnosis of autism. And they've got a good reason to do that. Autistics don't cycle. I read people. I'm a master. I'm a master at reading people. Most autistics can't do that. I can decide when to turn my symptoms on and off. I can do that. It might cause me suffering, but I can do it. Most autistics can't do that. So there's a lot of reasons that I should be disqualified. But And I've told my doctors this, like, I know you work with a lot of people. You work off the DSM-5. It's a manual, it's kind of a standardized manual that explains different psychological, psychiatric conditions. It tells you what the symptom set is. I read it, not the whole thing. I read the pieces of it that were relevant to me. And I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm pretty smart. I can see the symptom sets that are listed there. I can look at my own symptom sets. There's a lot of correlation here. I mean, the way these things are set up for your diagnosis, it's not as though there are 10 symptoms that are general. The way it works is if you've got 6 or 7 or 8 of those symptoms out of the 10 listed, then we classify you as that. Because they really don't know. That's why they broaden the autistic spectrum to include Asperger's. It's part of the same thing. Are you a ginger? Every time somebody says, "Oh, I'm a ginger," it reminds me of the South Park thing. All this hate on gingers. Nah, you a ginger lady, you're all right in my book. I like all kinds of women. It doesn't matter really the race or the you know where they're from. Had women. I mean, I'm generally into women who are fit, in good shape. I like workout too. But within that context, it's big boobs, small boobs, whatever. I'll find if we got a good rapport going on, then I'm going to find out what's beautiful about you. I'm going to see the beauty you have. All that set up like I want to say like I don't have a preference, but redheads. I mean, all right, I'm a little biased. I tell you, well, my first my first ever real girlfriend when I was in high school. I met her at summer camp. We were counselors in training together. And we were each other's first love. We lost our virginity to each other. Still keep in touch with her. She's a, she's a potter. She works as a potter in Asheville, North Carolina. I got a lot of crafts like that. But yeah, she was a ginger. Loved it. She was so beautiful. And my second major girlfriend, was in college, and that was the second girl I'd ever slept with. I'm just not that promiscuous of a guy, but she was a redhead too, but she had the really dark, not the orangey red. She had like the really dark sort of auburn red hair. And well, my first girlfriend was real super super thin. My second girlfriend was more voluptuous, but that's where I'm. Whatever, don't really matter to me. You didn't. Yeah, the South Park episode. I don't know. I mean, if you are easily offended, you can't you can't watch South Park. But they have just amazingly been able to stay on the cutting edge of comedy for 20 years. I mean, it's been 20 years. It has. The South Park movie came out in 1999. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. Think about that sometime. Them and South Park, and the other one that just pushes the boundaries and pushes all the buttons is Dave motherfucking Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, that Sticks and Stones special he put out on Netflix, that's been, I mean, Dave Chappelle for me, he's up there with Richard Pryor. He's up there with anybody. I think Dave Chappelle's number one. He's the funniest motherfucker on the planet. He's just awesome. Well, I need to set up these buttons. You guys, I think I have to be an affiliate to do this, but as soon as I get it, I want to get those buttons where you get channel points. And one of the things is going to be hydrate, and I need that, buddy. You got to tell me to drink water. I just fucking forget. The other one I'm going to put on there is meditate, because I let myself get really excited sometimes. I've had to leave some of my streams early because I was too, you know, I used up all my energy too quickly. Yeah, channel points are really fun. It's a wonderful way that Twitch has it set up that allows you to enjoy streaming, but also enjoy and engage and interact in the chat. Yeah, so I really like that. But you know what? Vape time. Trying to quit. UFC gym's gonna fucking make me quit. I come out of that bastard wheezing. I work out hard though. Yeah, it's vape o'clock and it's bathroom break o'clock. Just number one though. Give me about a minute. Here comes that feeling I've seen in your eyes, down in the valley, down under heaven. But I'm not afraid anymore. It's only a broken heart. Yeah, we should mute my mic. Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. But anyway. Oh my God. How come it says I only got one viewer? I guess Wicked guy left, and I thought I was a viewer in my own chat. Oh no, I went to check you out. That's what I did. I'm gonna go back on my own to ups my viewer. Yeah, I think they very well may restrict that and not count it as a viewer if it's you doing it, because it's kind of cheating when you're trying to get to affiliate. But fuck, I mean, there's no reason not to. Anyway, I get into albums. You know, music is a big part of my life because I got to meditate music all the time. And one of the albums I forget about every now and again that came out in 1994, Tom Petty's Wallflowers. Or, is that right? What? Yeah. Um, yeah. That's the one that had It's Good to Be King on it and Wildflower. You belong among the wildflowers. So pretty, man. Record player. A lot of people say that there's a quality that you get from LPs that you don't get. And it's really actually it's sad. Like, I mean, so many young people, particularly, their experience of music is through their phone speaker or the headset they bought. But and all of the digital music is so compressed. But man, there's no good replacement for a badass, powerful receiver amplifier, some high quality stereo speakers, good cabling, and a remastered, beautifully finished copy of whatever you're listening to. That's awesome. Whereabouts you in the country do you live? So I now I live in Oh, you're saving up for a cat, huh? A cat? Cats are free. You're in England, yeah. Yeah, so I guess um, I'm sure you guys have a lot of the same, even though they're dying off to some extent, there's still record stores that have CDs and a lot of vinyl. Particularly secondhand stores. There's a chain. They got one of them in Greenville, South Carolina, where I live. It's called Second and Charles, and it's used books, used video games, and used music. They got a massive, massive selection of of LPs, and a lot of people love it. Cool. I never been outside the U.S., but you know, sure if I went anywhere near Europe, I'd probably be flying into London. Check it out. The thing that I really, I mean, the main reason I would want to travel is for natural beauty. Still have something called HMV, like a record shop. But when I vacation, I'm more apt to go to a beautiful natural setting as opposed to a big city. But I like the cities too. And the thing that the thing that is so different about, say, England and the United States, you can go to a bar in England that's 1,000 years old. Everything in America, when you look into the grand stream of things, everything is brand fucking new. I like history. Old graveyards. I love that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you know what's funny, Megan? If people bring up that question, like if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? If you could vacation to one spot, and New Zealand is well, and really what I would want to do is fly into Australia and see, and then go to New Zealand, experience that, and then go to Tasmania. Because talk about a whole different line of genetic evolution. And yeah, humans have modified it a little bit, but there's species of plants and animals, everything, flora and fauna, that live in New Zealand or live in Tasmania that don't live anywhere else in the world because they were so isolated from the rest of the world for so long. But but yeah, I'd love to go to New Zealand. Seems like a great place. I wouldn't mind living there. I say I've never been there, but yeah, you got houses. Yeah, you got. I mean, in England, you've got. I mean, I try to. You learn a little bit about English history in American school. In high school, you have to. I don't know if you have to, but I did. I took a AP European history. You get college credit. In college, you definitely have to, but they just barely touched the surface. I had a book that was maybe 500 or 600 pages that was about the gives you a lot of details. It was real difficult to get to because it was a lot of technical information. Um, but it's very, very systematic and trying to cover as much ground as it can in terms of documenting the history of England. No, this one was from Scotland, but I read one on England too. But it's really, like I said, Americans got 250-year-old history. That there's even people living on the in the UK, what we now call the UK, for thousands and thousands of years. It's crazy. When do you oh, I said you just said you stream when you want. When are you gonna, like, maybe you don't know, but I want to come by and visit you. So I guess since I followed you now, that it'll let me know. So I'll just come visit you then. Just whatever. Whatever. What do you do on your stream? You play, I think I saw your thing. You play games, chat. I like playing games, but most of what I've been doing is chatting about mental health, chatting about, you know, just chatting people up to come in, what they had a couple guys in here. 2 nights ago, maybe 3 nights ago, something. And I don't know exactly how we got on the subject, but we started talking about Einstein and quantum mechanics, which is very, very technical. It's a very complex thing to study. But you know, there's only 5 people probably in the world that really understand quantum mechanics, and I am not one of them. But I've researched it a lot. I've studied a lot, so I have a very, very advanced layman's level of education about relativity, quantum mechanics, and the history of philosophy or history of science in general. And these guys brought up some really, really interesting, very deep philosophical questions. And we just had a really good rapport. It was so much fun. But, I want some of my streams to be, I want to do, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do a stream where I show my calisthenics workout and do one that's dedicated to my poetry, my slam poetry, spoken word. I've already done a few of those on stream, but I do a whole episode on poetry. Um, don't have my guitar. Sold my guitar for drugs years and years ago. I still know how to play. So I'm going to get on here one time and play and sing for y'all. Take requests. So today, depends on when you get back from the ground. Okay. And cut her grass. And good little granddaughter you are. And you're a good girl. But I'm sure your mama should have warned you about men like me. I spell trouble. The crazy thing is, I got on Facebook dating a couple years ago, I think. I've tried online dating stuff before. Never really got anything out of it. So and also I made the decision. It was a couple years ago. While I'm in recovery from addiction, um, and when I'm trying to get my mental health a little bit more stabilized, I'm off the market. I'm not trying to pursue anything like that. I don't intend to soon. Um, but the thing, I came out about my mental illness on Facebook. Showed a video of what it looks like when I'm talking, when I'm tired. Sounds like someone who's retarded, has a speech impediment, something like that. You know, started doing extensive documentation, writing daily journals and all this stuff about how fucking crazy I am. You have no idea. I mean, within a few days of doing that, I had 3 people on Facebook dating contact me as a match, and I've got all these women, say all these, but at least a couple of them a day that are trying to get up in my DMs and shit. You know, why are women attracted to crazy, crazy, crazy big strong guys with tats? I mean, you know what? I guess I can see it. I like a tatted up girl myself, but I'm going through a fucking psychological crisis in my life. And that's when you decide you want to come at me? I mean, what the fuck are you thinking? uh, yeah, it really, uh, actually, I really feel, don't get me wrong, I think men and women are equal in my book. If I'm going to be with a woman, I want her to be my equal. I'm not her superior. But there's certain things, like, say, online dating. I can't ever really understand what it means to engage in that kind of platform as a woman. I mean, I must admit, it's so different. Um, you know, chicks don't send me pictures of their pussies and tits and stuff. They don't do that. Dudes will talk to somebody they just met and send them a dick pic. I think that's shit. And I'm like, does that work for you? What? Why would you do that? It's just, I think it's kind of, there's parts of me that are really conservative, you know, in some ways. I would never, never send, that's just, that's the most astonishing. I mean, there's situations, and I've done this before. You meet somebody, meet a girl, and there's just a click right then. I've been in situations where I met somebody for the first time, and a couple hours later, we're fucking. It happens. I don't look for that, but that can happen. Most of the time, with most people, there are steps to this. You just get to know somebody a little bit before pulling out your dick and sending it. It's the dumbest shit in the world, man. I mean, I got no shame about nakedness or anything like that. I'm real comfortable with my body and everything, but anyway, I'm going too into that. But I'm glad I'm not having to go into that kind of as a woman. I mean, Jesus. But you know, I don't know. I tried that, and I would like write funny or funny messages to them to introduce myself that proved that demonstrated. Yeah, I read your whole profile. I read the whole thing, and I'm interested in all of you. Whatever. Would never get back to me. I guess because I wasn't mentally ill enough yet. They say, nice guys always lose, but we win sometimes. We win. I got my own. One way in which I win is I can feel good about the way I treat people. I'm from South Carolina, here in the South. This whole thing, this whole concept about the Southern gentleman, it's hundreds of years old, but it's still around. Somebody moves in next door, you need to bake them some cookies or something and bring it over to them. You meet a lady, treat her like a lady. Be respectful. Be deferential. You meet an elder, same thing. These are just cultural things. How it goes. Like in America, people want when they're talking, they want to be, like this far away. But if you're in Europe, they want to be all up in your grill. Whatever, just different. How long have we been on here? I need to do a short one today. Hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. I didn't want to just not stream at all today, but man, UFC gym just who's that instructor, Amanda. She was I saw her doing some of her routine before we started the class. Chick is an absolute beast, man. She's hard as nails. And did this thing I think that's called Ultimate Workout or something. It's got a lot of the CrossFit stuff in it, using kettlebells, using balls, stuff like that. Yeah. New York City's like that too when I lived up there. Because it's totally different. If you're walking down the street in Greenville, even if there's a lot of people out and it's downtown or whatever, most of the time you just give them at least a little, you know, remark to them. And here it's much, much, much more common to just strike up a conversation with a stranger when you're like in line at the grocery store. People just do that. That's what I was reading about. A lot of people's like their first impressions of the United States. And you see that a lot. That Americans are very, very much into small talk. It's even more common here in the South. People just start talking about the weather or whatever. It happens all the time. I like that about this place. I like engaging with people. Something I really liked about New York City. I like blowing people's minds, man. I like blowing people's minds. And I walked up to a lot of strangers and engaged with them. And yeah, they gave me funny looks, but once they saw I was being sincere, kind of guy I was, they were cool with it. And yeah, I like blowing people's minds. I like doing karaoke. Um, I'll get up there and sing like a ballad by the Beatles or something. And then I get up there again. All right, guys, we'll change of pace. All you Trekkies and TV addicts, don't mean to diss, don't mean to bring static. All the Klingons in your fucking house, grab your backstreet friends and get loud. Throw a little Beastie Boys at them, a little Outcast. I think America's the laughing stock of the world. Yeah, we're fucked up and funny people. A YouTuber, where? Why is that? Oh, okay, that's Flaming Delta. Oh, yeah, you just have the same color. You're both purple on my screen. Yeah, you know, I don't know the statistics on this. Um, yeah, I don't know the statistics on suicide rates. I need to look it up. But so don't take my word on this. But if I'm remembering correctly, the rise in suicide rate for the 15 to 25 age category has been increasing in the U.S. And social media is one of the major culprits of that. You know, I think Twitch is a really great example of how you can build a positive community using the social media platform. But but there's a lot of negative examples out there too. It's really sad. You know, I'm old fashioned. I prefer like texting. I never got into texting. You know, if you want to just text me and be like, I'll be right there or whatever, that's fine. But if you want to hold a real conversation in writing, let's do it through email. Or better yet, let's just hang out and talk about it. Although now that my verbal communication processor's fucked, maybe we'll keep it to being pen pals or whatever. And man, I'm Flaming Delta. I'm sorry your experience with therapy or the story you heard of therapy is ineffective. Certainly can be sometimes. Wouldn't call it a joke though. I'm somebody that's really sick. Part of my sickness is substance use disorder. You know, there've been periods in my life where I used a lot of drugs, and I needed. I never. It took me a long time to acknowledge this, but I needed professional counselors, people with experience to help me overcome addiction. I still haven't. I probably never will, but get the cravings all the time and all that. But I needed a professional. When it comes to counselors and things like that, I definitely get something. I have a recovery coach, a counselor specific for addiction issues. I got a psychiatrist and I had a counselor. A master social work, I can't remember, or marriage family therapy. It does helps me get things out. It has its uses, but something I've discovered for myself is whatever it is that's wrong with me. I mean, bipolar, yeah, anxiety, ADHD, but the other symptoms that are not explained by those diagnoses, it's such a rare and unusual combination of symptoms. They simply don't know what to do with me. They just don't. Because when you're in medical school, when you're going to school for that profession, maybe you got that one class on abnormal fringe psychology cases. But for the most part, and doctors do this too with medicine, you treat the mean, you treat the average person so that you can help as many people as possible. But if your condition is way, way outside their classification circle, your Venn diagram looks like a fucking Mandelbrot. They don't know what to do with you. Spend a lot of time. I love my primary practitioner for psychological care. I love my doctor. They're great. They've shown me nothing but love, and I got nothing but love for them. But they just don't know what they're dealing with here. Nobody does. I've been in a rapport with some researchers from Duke University, UNC, Thrive, which is a national institute on autism. University of South Carolina has a center on autistic savantism. I've been writing correspondence back and forth with these people, and I keep running into dead ends. You know, the people that I can get and are willing and want to be able to help me, I tell them what my symptoms are, and they pretty much tell me, we don't think you're autistic, but we don't really know what you are, and we can't help you. It's just so fucked up, you know. If you showed up in the ER and your hand was cut, it's like, well, how did you cut it open? Well, I don't know. Well, we can't treat you. Here, let me refer you to a guy that sells needles and string. You can go stitch that up yourself. You wouldn't do that. It's so crazy. So much of the work of diagnosing my condition, the vast majority of the work that's being done to deal with that problem is being done by me. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I know how to read the DSM-5. I know how to compare symptom sets. I'm a pretty smart guy. Why are you just saying I can't help? I mean, it's just frustrating, man. You would think. I mean, at least think about it this way. Depends on the person, you know. I mean, think about it this way. I might be wrong. Bipolar people have delusions of grandeur of their ego. I might be wrong. I might be just trying to think I'm special, and that's why I think I'm really smart and have these gifted talents, right? But something they thought too was a delusion, the way that I talk, the crippling of my verbal processing center, they just basically didn't believe me, thought I was exaggerating. Finally, I've got all this video documentation. My mom's on board. My family and friends are on board. They know what's happening. A psychiatrist does too. So I was right about that. I'm telling you, my mind is a fucking data processing machine. If I'm telling you that the evidence that I have gathered leads me in a certain direction, why don't we just try that out? You know, if you think that there's what I have has no resemblance to autism, let's test it. Let's just test. You don't even want to test me? That's the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, you know, even if we just want to disqualify that as a factor, fine. But this guy, this brilliant guy at Thrive, that knows, he says, well, we think you might have MS and you might also have this other condition that we don't deal with that deals with making medication. So I looked those things up. My symptom set has nothing to do. I mean, one of them, you know, he talks about the rocking a little bit with stuttering, but not losing the ability to speak, not gaining intellectual prowess, fucking Superman abilities that you pay for by suffering every day, shaken. That's not in that symptom set. You know? That's just crazy that I gotta. But I mean, the thing I'm doing, like I say, I'm a natural salesperson. I'm a fucking meticulous contact records management professional. All these people I've been contacting, I know when was the last time I talked to them, what was the date, what were we talked about, what's the next step. I just built a little CRM and Excel spreadsheet. But you know, I'm not trying to do this by myself anymore. I need help, and I'm going to use my skills to find help. They can't hide from me. It's kind of funny. I mean, this is, you know, I'm a cocky motherfucker, but I can back it up too. I'm going to start making money on Twitch. I already know how to do it. I haven't written the outline yet, but that information's already been processed in my brain. I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly what to do. I'm not rushing it. I'm still in the kind of state where I might have a whole day that all I can do is lay down. Might happen to me. I don't know. Hadn't happened in a few weeks. I hate being so fucking unreliable. I always used to pride myself on reliability. I'm always at work on time. Drives me crazy if I can't stick to the plan that I set. But I gotta admit, my life right now, I'm not a very reliable person. It sucks. It sucks, but it's true. Back down to 2 viewers. Was that you still in there, Megan? You look up your page again. Megan Ginger Beast. See if you got the. You go onto your page here. Oh, 3 days ago, huh? Minecraft, Assassin's Creed. I want to try Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That looks like fun. You suggest these streamers, huh? Okay, I'll check them out. That's fine. Let's click on schedule. I know you say you don't have schedule. Nothing. That's mine too. Fuck a bunch of schedules. You have a Discord, huh? Tips. Video games and films, and I like dinosaurs. Okay. Oh, that's you. That is you, lady. The show is. The show is. The show I'm is. Like a lot of people. The show, like a lot of people, I fell in love with dinosaurs. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with dinosaurs. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with dinosaurs. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with dinosaurs. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with dinosaurs. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with audio. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with audio. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with audio. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with audio. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with audio. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with audio. Like a lot of people, I fell in love with audio. Get it. A lot of people fell in love. Yeah, let me mute that. I thought it was muted. There it goes. Yeah, my desktop audio was output to my desktop from that. I got my own page up and give me a viewer. But yeah, you know what? The dinosaurs is something that that I haven't circled back to. You know, I like to research things and then research a bunch of other stuff and then come back, sort of outward spiral of knowledge. I think the last dinosaur related study that I did was I wanted to read about how carbon dating works. So I read up on that. But, you know, I'd really like to study the evolutionary progression of certain of the dinosaurs into birds. That's fucking fascinating. I love that shit. There are some birds that, or some dinosaurs rather, that they think had feathers. You know, it's like part of the way there. World War II, yeah, yeah. I mean, especially, and a lot of people are like this, but if you're a military history buff, World War II is just the most engaging. Um, it's great. I still, it's like I've read so many books about World War II, um, from tactics, from the guy Stephen Ambrose. He died. He passed away, but he wrote the book Band of Brothers that they turned into HBO series and D-Day and some other stuff. And his perspective is very different because most history books when they talk about World War II, they're talking about the decisions that are made by the generals and the politicians. It's a very bird's eye view of it. But what Ambrose did is he went and interviewed the non-commissioned officers and the privates and all that. Oh yeah, that was just wonderful. I mean, he was also Stephen Ambrose was their key historical advisor for Saving Private Ryan. It's one of the reasons they got the realism in that. Did a really good job. But yeah, I like reading about the experience of your average soldier out in the field. That's what I find really fascinating. That's what Band of Brothers did so extraordinarily well. It's wonderful, wonderful book. Stephen Ambrose also actually wrote a book about the Lewis and Clark expedition. That's fantastic. There's so much stuff. Had no idea all the stuff that they did for what we learned in middle school and high school. There's so much more to their story. So anyway, what time is it? Coming up on midnight. Yeah, I think it might be about time for me to wrap it up. I meant to just do an hour, but I had you here, Megan, keeping me company. So I wanted to chat with you for a little bit longer, but you know, I'll keep an eye out for next time you're streaming. Come visit you, give you some love, give you some bits. So I think I'm gonna sign off. I got nothing but love for you, Megan. So grateful. Spend a little time with me today. Means a lot to me. Means a lot to me. You seem like a real good person. So, all right, love you. Hope you have a good night. Okay. Nice chat.